Hi, this is Trevor Conquergood, and welcome to this week's RNK Software Club's video for the week. And our topic for this week is the Density Optimizer. And that was a new tool in our update that happened in January. And so if you're ready to get started, let's go ahead and take a look at my screen. And, oh, sorry, I have to turn it back on. There you go. And so now you should be able to see my workspace. If you have an embroidery design, and you could find an embroidery design from anywhere, but if you go to your library and browse through, like some of your free monthly designs and open up an embroidery design. So the tool that's called the Density Optimizer is found up at the top of the workspace right here. And of course, if it's not brightly lit, it means that you would need to first select something to be able to use it. So if I click on the embroidery design and it becomes selected, then this tool becomes available and it's called the Density Optimizer. And so when you click on the Density Optimizer, it essentially has a small window that opens that allows you to adjust the satin stitch density, the pattern fill density, the fill length density, and the run length. I guess not in this case, it's more of stitch length, not density. But all that said, and I'm not going to do anything right now. I just want to stop and click off and say, what did that just say? What does that mean? And so satin is like these little bubbles here. And the column that goes around the mouth, those are sand stitches. But here, where you can see the sort of needle points in between, it's not just stitches on the outer edge. That's called a fill. So you've got a pattern fill and a density for that. And then you have a satin fill and a density for that. Now, the pattern fill, when it makes it, there's really two settings, because the density is about the distance between the rows, right? So if you say 10% more, it's going to spread these rows apart by about 10% or 20%, whatever amount you want. And the stitch length, so pattern density or pattern fill has a density and also a length. So from one needle point to the next, to the next, to the next, that'll be a certain distance. And so that's what this density optimizer is all about, these different settings. So if I select it again and click on the tool up at the top, it says density optimizer. And notice that I can choose the satin density alone, or I can do the whole design. If you just want to say custom and do like 80%, it'll do 80% both for both. But if you want to do custom, then you could do 90% on one and 80% on the other. But the idea is you can control the density in a percentage. So 80% would be less, 120% would be more. And same thing with pattern density. So these are, when it says pattern density, it means the pattern fill, the density of the pattern fill. The fill length, that means the stitch length for your fills. And the run length, that means the stitch length of all other run stitches like underlays or outlines. And so, for example, right now we have the pattern density. Why don't we just do them one at a time? So we'll set the pattern density at 0, well, actually 100, I guess, would be the sort of default. And the only change the satin density to 80%. So notice up at the top, before I click on that, the design has 9,980 stitches. After I say OK, it says 1,062. So you can see that we opened up the density of the satin fills. Now, if I click the tool again, these all say 100, right? So I could take another 20% off of the satin fills. Or this time, let's do the pattern density. Let's try 90%. And so notice it's 1062. And I say, okay. And now it's 9,401. So we opened up the density of the pattern fill. And the same thing can be done with the fill length and the run length. If I wanted to, I could make those. So I would, if I want to make them longer, I would go 120. Right. So it's kind of the opposite of above here. If I want less stitches, I think I need to make the length longer. So again, up at the top, 9,401. When I say okay, 9,078. So this is a great way to lighten up an embroidery design. And even, yes, with the ones that you made, it's perfect, but also with the ones that you bought. Now, if it's just a PES or a JEF or a VP4, if it's just a stitch-based format, you will need to use convert to outlines before the tool will work. So if I click on convert to outlines, when I open my design, as you know, that means that the software is able to edit the stitches. And we can simply click on the whole design just like before and run the density optimizer. And or maybe you just feel like the one color is too heavy and you wanted to select that pink color and now run the density optimizer, and the only thing selected is the only thing the density optimizer will affect. So this is a pattern fill. So if I make the pattern density 80% and the pattern fill length, 120, then it'll go down. So it's 1887 at the top. When I say okay, now it's 1682. And so you get the idea that simply put, you select whatever you want, and then you click on the tool and make your adjustments. So I hope you enjoyed this week's RNK Software Club's video for the week. Until next week, have a great day. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.